Hey makeup friends! Today we're going to be taking a look at the new Pat McGrath and Bridgerton collaboration. So I have not only the eyeshadow palette, but also the cheek trio to share with you. So let's get into this. As always, I want to start off by welcoming you back to my channel, or if you're new here, then hello and welcome. My name is Kara, and on my channel we like to mix beauty, brains, and the occasional F-bomb. Like I said, we're going to be taking a look at the Pat McGrath and Bridgerton collaboration. I picked up everything in the collection minus the individual highlighters. I felt that because there was a highlighter already in the cheek trio that I could pass on those, and they did have a pretty hefty price tag to them. But nonetheless, we do have the palette and the cheek trio to take a look at, so let's just dive straight into it. So the eyeshadow palette retails for $88 Canadian on the Pat McGrath website. Everything in this collection is currently sold out, although there is a wait list that you can join. But the palette itself is beautiful. So you get 6 shades in here. There is a mix of finishes. You have shimmers, you've got mattes, and then you've got this insanely gorgeous shimmery shadow, which is what you see all over my lid here today. It is beautiful. And not only is it beautiful inside, but the packaging as well is just top notch. This is just gorgeous. The outer box reflects what is on the actual packaging itself. You've got the shade names listed at the back, and then that theming continues over there as well. And overall, it's just beautiful. Like, it just makes me happy looking at it, and these kind of shades are right up my alley. Now, I will say I'm never going to remember the actual name of this palette. It's called the Diamond of the First Water. I'm just going to refer to it as the Bridgerton palette because I'll never remember that. But I will say that if it is of concern for you, this is not a vegan palette. So any of those shades that you see in here that have that pinky, plummy kind of tone do include carmine. So I did want to bring that to your attention. Now switching over to the cheek trio, this one retails for $70 Canadian. Again, it is currently sold out. But again, you have a mix of finishes in here. So you have more of a traditional highlighter kind of finish. You've got more of a satin glowy kind of blush here, and then a matte blush over here. I will show you the application of these in today's makeup, but I do have these two layered, and then I am wearing this shade here as a highlighter. I had no issues in blending these out. They layer beautifully, and I think they're just beautiful on the skin. I didn't see any patchiness developing as I was applying them. They're very smooth, very buildable in terms of their pigmentation. And overall, these are tones that I just think are beautiful. These are the kind of shades that I can see myself getting a lot of use out of. I have checked the ingredient deck for the cheek palette, and although I don't see any carmine listed, nor do I see any indicator on the packaging that this is vegan or cruelty-free. So I did want to bring that to your attention, again, in case that is something of concern to you. So with that information out of the way, I am going to insert a little video just showing some close-ups of the pans and then some swatches as well, and then we'll move right into the application of these products. All right, so now that we've taken a closer look, let's see these in action. All right, I am going to use a Rephr 05 brush, and I'm going to pick up this shade in the middle first, and then we'll punch it up with a little bit of the pink. This is my first time using Pat McGrath blush, and so I'm not entirely sure what to expect, except I know that people have loved her formula. Now this is a little bit more of a glowy kind of finish, but nothing over the top. I'm not seeing anything glittery in there at all. I really like that tone. I think it's really natural looking on my skin tone. So let's go ahead and apply over here as well. I'm not seeing any patchiness in blending it out. It's not skipping over any areas. And I think that the pigmentation is quite buildable as well. Absolutely. I'm going to bring a little above on the nose as well, just to tie it all together. That is really pretty. And I don't mind the glowy finish. I typically go for a matte finish blush, but again, it's just like this healthy looking glow. It's nothing too shiny, nothing too unnatural looking. I think it's really, really pretty. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna go in with the same brush and pick up some of this matte pink shade. Not very much, because I think this one could go 0 to 60 pretty quickly. So let's just layer the two of them together just to punch up that pink a little bit. Yeah, light hand with this one for me for sure. Oh, but it's so pretty. You can still see that sheen from the other one poking through. That is so pretty. Ooh. Okay, I can see what all the hype is about. I see why people like her blush formula so much. All right, now let's try the highlighter. For that, I'm going to use this brush here from Sigma. This is the F06 powder sweeping brush. Just go ahead and pick some of that highlighter up. Again, I haven't used her highlighter formula before either. Apparently, I have been sleeping on the Pat McGrath cheek products, and I should not have been, because that is very pretty. Again, not super intense, although I think that this is going to be very buildable as well, but very, very pretty. Some of that here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, oh, a little bit everywhere, why not? Pick up a little bit more and bring it over here. I'm going to take a quick look up close just to see if it's emphasizing any little bits of texture or pores on my skin. From this distance, I'm not seeing any issues, but that doesn't mean there aren't any. So let's take a closer look. Nope, not at all. That's just sitting on my skin so nicely. It's not highlighting any of the little bits of texture that I have. Very, very pretty. All right, I'm going to declare that face trio a winner. I love all three shades. I love that you get 3 different finishes with those powders. I love how they apply, I love how they blend out. Beautiful. Now let's move on to the eyeshadow. Okay, this is crunch time because I'm actually getting ready for my live stream scheduled for 11:30. It is 11:19. So we're going to see how quickly these shadows can come together, and it's going to be a fairly simple look, but that's okay because I think I have a good idea of what I want to do, and I just want to focus on the super sparkly shade in the palette. So I'm just starting off, what is this even? The Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Eye Primer. It hasn't like knocked my socks off, but I actually don't mind this primer at all. I don't really have any issues with it. I do prefer one that helps to mask my discoloration on my lids, and this one does not do that. That's the only thing keeping me from like loving it, but it blends out really nicely and I don't experience any patchiness with the shadows with it, so it's a win in my books. Okay, let's take a look at this beautiful palette. This is the one that I want to be the star of the show today. All right, so I'm going to start off with this lighter pink shade here, and to apply it, I'm going to use a Zoeva 228 crease brush. Just going to apply that as like a transition shade. Like I said, we're not going to get super intricate here because I need to make sure I have time to set up my camera, have the obligatory like freak out about doing a live stream because it happens every single time. I get myself super stressed out for absolutely no reason. I've never actually had like a terrible live stream experience. Well, I had one mistake once. That is blending absolutely beautifully. Like, I did not expect it to be quite as pigmented as it is. And I am not mad at that at all. That is very, very pretty. Now I'm going to use a Bristles Beauty brush, and this is the E03DM. I'm going to use that to pick up the darkest shade in the palette over here. And I'm going to run that under like the outer half of the lower lash line and then bring that up into the outer V as well. Kind of stamp it into place over here and then get to blending. I'm not going to bring it too high up, but I do have to go a bit above my natural crease because I have hooded eyes. And if I just keep the shadow in the crease, nobody's ever going to see it unless I walk around with my eyes closed. But this shadow is blending really nicely over top of that darker pink. And I have the feeling that it would be very blendable in terms of the intensity, or rather very buildable, but I don't want it to be too dark today because it's just going to be a very blingy kind of look. And it doesn't need to be any more dramatic than that. God, that blended so nicely. All right, so for all over the lid, I'm going to go ahead and use the NYX Glitter Primer because I really want this sparkly shadow to lock into place. And I'm just going to apply that with a really flat brush. I got this at Michael's. It's from Simply Simmons, and it's the number 10. And I think it was like, it was less than $3. Oh, that was way too much glitter glue. Way too much. Oh my goodness. That is okay. We can blend that out, pat it down, wipe off like 20 pounds of excess. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? This is what happens when I try to go quickly. Then I'm just going to flip the brush over and pick up this gorgeous little shade over here. It's got a rather dry formula, so I think that the glitter glue is really going to help with that because I have the feeling if I just went in with a dry lid, I think it would like fluff off everywhere. Oh, she is so pretty though. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's beautiful. Oh wow, okay. I'm very, very happy with that. That is beautiful. I wish I didn't have hooded eyes. I wish I could just like walk around and everybody would see how beautiful this is. That is gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna take that Bristles Beauty brush and just pick up that dark shade again. Just a little bit of it just to sort of blend that edge a little bit, just to make it a little bit less of a harsh demarcation there. Inner corner, another Bristles Beauty brush. This is the E05PS. And I'm going to pick up that shade right here and stick that in the inner corner just to brighten that up. You know what? That one is not as intense as I thought it would be, considering how, I mean, it's a different formula for sure, but this one I thought would be a little bit more intense. It still brightens up that inner corner, but I would like it just a little bit more punchy. Just a touch. Let's see, you know what? Let's use a little bit of setting spray on it and just see what that does, if anything. Yeah, there we go. That helps. All right, and there is the final look. I love how this turned out. You saw that it came together very quickly. I think it's beautiful. This shade, oh my goodness, it's gorgeous. I will say there was some fallout and I have not been able to get it off of my face, particularly in this area right here. I've tried to just gently remove it with a brush and it's not budging. So I would recommend doing your eyes first before your base so that you can cover up any fallout, or just like wipe it away with like some micellar water and a cotton pad, whatever you want to do. But that doesn't take away from just how gorgeous this palette is. So quite happy with how it performed. On my lips, I'm also wearing a gloss from Pat McGrath, and this one is in the shade Secret Lover. I think it just complements the like berry tones in that pink really nicely as well. And overall, I'm just really happy with how this makeup look has come together. So that is that. Let's move on and I will give you my final thoughts, although it probably won't come as any surprise. All right, so I don't think that I've buried the lead very well on this at all. I am very happy with the performance of both of these palettes. The cheek palette applied beautifully. I think there's very good buildable pigmentation there. I like that you're getting a nice spread of the different finishes, that there is a true highlighter included in there as well, not just two glowy blushes. I like the spread of the shade selection that are in there. I think they're very flattering, particularly for my skin tone, which obviously is important to me. And then in terms of the eyeshadow palette, although I didn't use all 6 of the shades that are in here, I did get to experiment with all of the different finishes that you see in here. These two have a very similar formula in that they're more like a cream to powder kind of finish, and you could see just how pigmented and blendable this one was. So I have no doubt that this one will perform equally as well. In finger swatches, this shade here has a lot more oomph to it than this one. And it almost feels wet, although it's not. It's very creamy, very smooth. I think it's going to apply beautifully all over the lid. The true matte that's in here, you saw how easily that blended out as well. And again, I think that I could really build up the pigmentation of that to make an even smokier look. And then this shade right here is just a standout. This is beautiful. I know I didn't use all the shades that are in here and I've only done one rather simplistic look. If you would like to see me do a 2-look or 3-look video using this palette, just let me know in the comments down below, and that is something I'd be happy to do because this is a palette that I want to play with even more. So that is it. I'm going to wrap the video up here, short and sweet today. If you picked up either of the highlighters in this collection, please let us know in the comments what your thoughts on that were. I've never used any of her single highlighters, so I have nothing to bring to the table on that one, but I'd be curious to hear what your experience was. But with all that said, I'm going to wrap the video up here. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I invite you to consider doing so. But for now, I am going to say goodbye, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, just be a decent human being. Bye for now.